Once you get this, you will never struggle for leads. You will never struggle for appointments, never struggle for qualified leads ever again, right? And so when we do this, it just blows the gates off of our offers and off of our lead gen because, it gets people to say, okay, yep, I have a hot offer now. Like that's the whole thing that we're trying to find. If we're trying to validate a new offer, we have all these ideas. And before we build any sort of lead magnet or before we build any webinar, like we want to make sure that people are actually interested in what we're selling.
Hey, Joel, how's it going, man?
Going good. Looking forward to it, AJ. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, super happy to have you. And if it's okay with you, I'd love to dive right in. I'm really, really excited to talk about some offer principles today. And I believe you have prepared a few things for us, right?
Yep. So what I'm going to share with you and your audience today is this principle that I've been using for, 4 or 5 years now. We call them power offers. And what it is for, if you're an agency or anyone who generates leads for your business, it's a very, very simple copywriting framework that you can use to validate demand and generate demand for new or existing offers. We have used it in all sorts of promotion materials, meaning we have some clients who use this they've run ads in magazines. We've obviously run this on social media. We've run this for email campaigns. We've run this on LinkedIn. I mean, you name it. So it is kind of platform agnostic, and it really helps generate demand for your offers, and it helps the offer owner simplify what it is their core promise is. And so that's really the gist of what the Power Offer framework is. I do have a couple of slides that we can roll through, but that's kind of a brief intro.
Yeah. Well, I definitely believe in the power of offer, and most of our audience hears me talk about it a lot because we do a lot of sales training on what to do when you have somebody in the door. We have tons of training on sales call framework and follow up and all of that back end process for converting your qualified leads. But I always tell people guys, especially for a new client of ours, I always tell them, don't worry about sales stuff yet. Just get your offer, your niche, your messaging, all of that down. Because like you said, it's platform agnostic. So I really love how, I've been following you for a while. And I think what you teach applies to a lot of different businesses at a lot of different stages because it's the core principles of sales, not that shiny stuff, right? That comes later.
That's right. So you want me to share my screen? We can rock and roll?
Yeah, you should be good to go.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So what we're talking about here is something that I've coined as power offers. And so the title of this presentation is how to use a simple copywriting framework to validate, launch, and scale new offers before building any funnels, before building anything really complex on the back end. And that is really what a power offer is. What I'm giving you guys here is the introduction and the framework. If you guys wanted to go deeper, look at more examples, get more hand-holding and more in depth on how to create your own power offer. Once we go through this, you can go to powerofferworkshop.com. It's the cheapest investment you'll ever make, and it'll make you tons and tons and tons of money. I don't say that with any hesitation. We've had clients use this. They send an email to their list with a power offer and they've made $75,000. And that's happened multiple times. This is something that you can rinse and repeat. Once you get this power offer dialed in, my favorite way to use this is on its own standalone campaign. And I just send this once a month to my email list. And anyone who's new that hops onto my list or somebody who's already seen my offers, but just the timing wasn't right, it gets them to respond and engage in a sales conversation. And so you can check that out at powerofferworkshop.com whenever you're ready. So where can you publish power offers? As I said before, this is really platform agnostic. And this is anywhere that you have an audience, right? Social media, whether that is Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, it doesn't matter, Twitter, all of those have been platforms that we have monetized with a power offer. Facebook groups, this works phenomenally well with Facebook groups. Magazines, I'm going to share with you an example in a little bit of what one of these power offers looks like inside of a magazine ad. Paid traffic, paid social media ads. We use these all the time for our clients. And as I said before, LinkedIn and Twitter and email is one of my favorite platforms to send these power offers. And so I'm going to jump right in and just kind of give you the first ever power offer that I created, which kind of opened the doors to me discovering this. So a little bit of context, back in 2015, I was running my agency. We still run our agency, the webinar agency, and I was having a really hard time generating leads and generating demands for my business, And so the way that I was generating leads was I was paying for all these very expensive masterminds, $25,000 masterminds, $40,000 masterminds, right? And I was a part of like 4 or 5 of them. And so I'd fly all over the country. I'd go to these meetings. I'd introduce myself. And that was how I would pick up clients. And it was just exhausting. I have a family. In 2016, we had our first child. And I knew that wasn't going to last. Like, I wanted to be home. And so I had to really figure this out. And so it was late 2015. I remember I was reading a book by Bob Bly, and he gave me the inspiration for what became the Power Offer. And he said, the cheapest way to acquire a customer is to make direct offers, right? When you publish a message out there, now he had a long, complicated chart that explained this, but he basically said the cheapest way to acquire a customer is to make direct offers. And what most people were doing back in 2015, and what I was doing, was I was running long form webinars as the webinar agency, trying to generate leads for this business. And I said, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing way too much educating, right? And I need to get the offer dialed in. And so I was reading that book. I was laying in bed, staring at the ceiling fan. It was 11 o'clock at night. And I said, I got it. I'm going to publish this power offer. I didn't call it a power offer at the time, but I have an idea, and I'm just going to see if anybody is interested and ready to take action right now. And so I ran downstairs, and I remember I was so excited. It was 11 o'clock at night. I opened up my laptop, and I typed up this very, very brief sentence, or very, very brief post. This ended up turning into an ad, but I posted this organically on my Facebook profile, and I said, I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to just hit publish, and then I'll deal with the comments, the next morning. Well, the next morning I had like 35 interested leads who were raising their hands saying, yes, I want to take you up on that offer, right? And within 24 hours, I had booked a $25,000 client, cash collected, and I had another one on the waiting list. So I had $50,000 in revenue in 48 hours. That's the power of a power offer, right? And so then I went and I took that organic post, I turned that into an ad, and I was generating leads now for 90% less than what I was paying before. I was originally paying $400 to $450 per booked call, and I slashed that by 90%, and now I was generating book calls for like 30 or 40 bucks, the same exact offer. And so that is really what you can do, what happens when you get a power offer dialed in. And so without further ado, let me just kind of like share with you what this framework is. And it's very, very simple, right? And so the framework goes like this, right? First, we call out our avatar, right? We want to always make sure that we are speaking to the right people, right? That we are attracting the right people who are interested, right? Because the number one thing that people are interested in is this for me, right? No matter what I'm reading, is this for me? If they get any inclination that they are reading something that is not specifically for them, they're going to bounce, right? And so we very much, we start out by leading with that call out, with the avatar, right? Then we get into the power question statement, the power offer, which is, if I offered to get you X benefit without ABC obstacles, would you take me up on that offer? And so the secret here is that we're asking a question that gets them naturally engaged, right? We want them thinking in their mind, yes or no. And I don't care whether it's yes or no, but all I want is for them to start to get that engagement. And AJ, you have a sales background. You probably know the most important thing in all of sales is engagement, right? Is getting that feedback, getting that conversation going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so that is why this question is so powerful, is because what we're really doing is we're really making them an offer, and we're getting them to start to say yes right away. Yes, right away, right? Hey, if I offered to build you a high converting sales webinar with a super fast turnaround in about 24 hours without you needing to worry about what to say or how to say it, so you can fill your courses and programs now, would you take me up on that offer? Right? And so anyone reading this, I was targeting somebody who already knew about webinars. They already wanted a webinar. They probably tried and failed in the past. And now I'm offering to take all of those problems off their plate, take it over for them, and all they need to do is just click the button and reach out to me, right? It takes a while to come up with this offer. Yes, it's simple. It's one sentence, But once you get this, you will never struggle for leads. You will never struggle for appointments. You will never struggle for qualified leads ever again, right? And so when we do this, it just blows the gates off of our offers and off of our lead gen, because it gets people to say, okay, yep, like I have a hot offer now. Like that's the whole thing that we were trying to find. If we're trying to validate a new offer, we have all these ideas. And before we build any sort of lead magnet or before we build any webinar, like we want to make sure that people are actually interested in what we're selling. And so we put this out there first, and this kind of becomes our offer validation framework. Or if we have an offer that has diminished and is no longer performing like it used to, then we use this same framework to test a new offer, to test a new angle, to test a new hook, right? If competition goes up tremendously and our ads start to diminish, we got to come up with a new angle, got to come up with a new offer, got to come up with a new hook. This is what we do. And this is what tells us right away, do we have something relevant that the market wants? And so this is it, right? This is the power offer framework, and it's been revolutionary. So one of the examples that I like to share is my client, Boyd. Boyd came to us about 1.5 years ago, and he had been following me for some time. And he had this course that he literally couldn't give away for free. He had been trying all of the standard marketing principles, give away a lead magnet, then offer a tripwire, then send them to your course, et cetera, right? And he literally couldn't give it away for free. He was trying, free trials, then $7 trials, then, low price trials, and he just couldn't. He was helping IT professionals land a 6-figure job, and he couldn't give away the information for free. He went through one of my training programs and a challenge that I was hosting, and I showed him the power offer framework. And he said it all just made sense, right? He went from trying to give away his course for free to, working with us. And I told him he needs to sell it for at least 10 or 15 grand. And within a matter of like 30 days, he made $40,000. The next 30 days, I think he went to $75,000. Now he's up to $250,000 off of just $13,000 in ad spend, right? And this is his power offer. Same exact framework, right? Attention IT professionals, are you undervalued at your current company? Are you struggling to break out of your entry-level position? If I offered to personally show you the unconventional strategy we've used to help 320 entry-level IT professionals upgrade their job and land 6-figure positions at high-profile companies like American Airlines, the DoD, AT&T, without taking another certification, without applying for hundreds of jobs, and in less than 90 days, would you take me up on that offer? Right? That's the power of a power offer, turning $13K into $250,000, and he's just crushing it, absolutely crushing it. The next example, my friend, my client, Steve Gordon, came to work with us on a coaching capacity, and he helped authors publish books and generate clients from those books. He took one of my trainings, he took the Power Offer workshop, launched the power offer to his email list, and generated, I don't know, it was like $10,000 or $20,000 in sales for a brand new offer. He was launching this agency from scratch, right? So he launched it to his email list, immediately booked between $15,000 to $30,000 in revenue. I can't remember exactly what it is. And so he took this power offer, sent it to his email list, booked immediate sales. Then took that same power offer, turned it into an ad, and is now over 6 figures in sales and has apps coming in every single day and qualified calls. So he's had to dial his ad spend down because he's trying to figure out how to scale the agency, and he never has to worry about leads again. So his power offer is very similar, right? Business owners, entrepreneurs, and experts, if I offer to write you a book that captured all your best ideas and attracted pre-sold clients with a fast turnaround, professionally written to sound like you, super compelling title and cover design without you needing to touch a keyboard or write a single word, so you can get positioned as a market leader and pull in top clients, would you take me up on that offer? I've written 5 books, 2 are international bestsellers, and we've quietly helped 26 entrepreneurs write their book and use it to get clients. Are you next? Same principle, same exact principle. Speak to the people who are ready to buy right now and use them to validate your offers, okay? Caruana is an awesome success story. So very similar to Boyd, was using the free lead magnet ascension process to try and get people to buy her program. Now she helps minority and women-owned businesses launch like 6-figure government contracts and build their business that way. Very, very great offer. And she has taken this power offer, gotten incredible results, and then she transformed that into a magazine ad. I'm going to show that to you in just a second. But she also uses it in her email list once a month, right? Which is what I tell everybody to do. Take that power offer and just send it back once a month, rinse and repeat. So this is her email power offer, right? Joel, if I offer to show you how to grow your business with government contracts in the next 6 months, so you can have consistent, sustainable income for your business without having to chase customers, would you take me up on this offer? My first contract with government agencies was $70,000 for just 28 days of work. Are you next? Okay. So she uses this to pull in clients every single month, right? She just posted in our group either last week or earlier this week, she crossed $1 million in revenue for this year, her first time breaking the 7-figure mark. Then she took that, turned it into a Power Offer magazine ad. So this is a snapshot of her magazine ad, right? So it's the exact same thing. Want me to personally help you land government contracts for your small business equaling $200K in the next 6 to 12 months as a woman or minority small business owner? Click here for a free strategy session, right? So that is the framework for power offers, because what I've found is that most experts, most offer owners, they really struggle with writing copy. Not even just like, you can go down the whole, like a very, very deep rabbit hole with copywriting, which is incredibly powerful and one of the most valuable skill sets that you can learn. But there's no clear way to write powerful offers. And that's why we created the Power Offer Workshop, is to help you generate qualified leads, book appointments, and pre-sell and convert clients as fast as possible. Now, Boyd, it depends on your market. Like how far, everyone's always going to ask me, how far can I scale this with a power offer? And to be honest, it depends. It depends on how large your market is and how unique your offer is. Is there a lot of competition? You'll know if you start running ads. If you're generating booked appointments for $10, $20, you'll have a pretty long runway. Right now, if your cost per application, cost per book call is around, $100 or $200, like you can still make a ton of money with this, but it's usually less scalable, which tells us that your market is a little bit more saturated and maybe we should come up with a more unique offer. So that's what I've got for you, AJ. I try to keep this presentation as short as possible, but that is the kind of an intro to the power offer.
No, this was perfect, man. This was right to the point. I appreciate it. A lot of times, most experts, 20 minutes in, they're still introducing themselves. So I love how much, that was amazing. I really, really appreciate it, man. And I think to me, like you covered a lot of really the main points that I've seen. Like I've been watching you from afar, and believe it or not, 6 months ago when I started my current company, Revenue Boost, which is a consulting and education company for B2B sales, I actually bought a few of your $100 workshops, probably all of them at the time. And I've really used, like I haven't worked with your team. Now that we're getting our ads started soon, we're planning to get something rolling with webinars. But I just from your power offer workshops and some of your like low ticket offers, I've gained so much value. And especially when I started my company, it really helps me like understand leverage. And also, I think what's great about power offers is it's really good for anybody under 50K. I mean, I think you have clients from all over. I think it's principles of a good offer. And I think businesses that are bigger, they still have to test new offers, right? But I think especially like for us, when we started Revenue Boost, we went right for high ticket right away because that's what you said. And I love the thinking behind that, which we can also dive into. But we basically just came up with one offer. Like we still only have one offer, and we launched it 2 months ago. It's generated 100K in sales just organically. So now we're getting ads started. But like, I love your not just about offers, but your philosophy of validating your offers and going straight for high ticket first so that you can kind of fund the growth of the business. So yeah, man, I've just been watching you from afar and haven't really posted too much in your group, but like your stuff has helped us immensely with our direction. And I just love the framework of power offers because to me, it's like the minimum viable messaging. Like instead of writing this long ass sales letter, just talk about the problem, the offer, the solution, just get to the point and see if people like that. Because if you explain in very simple terms what your offer is and nobody likes it, like you said before, you don't need all this fancy, you don't need lead magnets, webinars, tripwires, like all the things that you see all over your Facebook newsfeed, people telling you to do, So I just love the simplicity of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's to speak on the point of start high ticket first. I had to think in those terms because, we run an agency, but we also run an education business as well too. And so my primary avatar is coaches and consultants, like people who launch courses, right? So course creators are my primary avatar. And when you look at Boyd and Caruana, and I could probably give you 50 other examples of clients that we've worked with, they would come to me and they say, Joel, I've got this idea for a course, or I have this course that I've already created. I want to sell it for $7, $100, $500, even $1,000, right? I have to have the conversation with them, and I'll tell them, like, because we're the webinar agency, they think that, not that they think, they want to just have a webinar that sells on autopilot, sells the course on autopilot for $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, we absolutely can do that, but until you start generating revenue, like, number one, our fee is going to be exorbitant. Like you're most likely not going to be able to, you're not going to feel comfortable, nor would I feel comfortable in offering this to you. Like, I want to make sure we get you the best results possible. Like, you haven't validated your offer. So for us to put all this work in and develop a 2-hour-long webinar to potentially sell your course on the back end, there's a lot of risk, right? So we need to take that course. I develop that into a high touch, either consulting or coaching offer, and sell that for $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Like, get your clients results, but most importantly, get cash flow coming in to fund your business model. Once you get to $30,000, $50,000, $75,000 per month doing that, and it won't take long, once you validate the offer, then we can talk about building a long form webinar. And that was really the genesis of like all of this stuff, like in a nutshell. When we talk about the top down business model, right? That's our high ticket courses business model. It's the descension model. Everyone in the course world wants to do the ascension model, which it does work. Ascension does work, but they're missing the point that the ascension model is usually built backwards. Like all the top marketers that you see out there. The perfect example that I use is Russell Brunson. Everybody knows Russell Brunson by now, CEO of ClickFunnels, founder of ClickFunnels. When he launched ClickFunnels, he failed miserably trying to sell the software outright, just pushing people to go buy the software. What he ended up doing was he was doing all of these, he launched a $25,000 mastermind first to get all of those people into ClickFunnels, right? But he launched high ticket first, funded his marketing engine, put 100 people in that mastermind. Then he had a $10,000 coaching program, which he had, I don't even know how many other people were in that program, but he launched $1 million, high ticket coaching program first and used that to help fund all the other ventures. Then he went on the webinar circuit. He did all these joint venture webinars and paid traffic webinars to sell $1,000 program that gave people a free trial to the software. That was how he funded and really grew ClickFunnels. And that's not really talked about. And, for anyone who this applies for any offer, if you are bootstrapping, you got to go premium first. And then you can work your way and scale down. At least that's my methodology. And it's different if you've got, startup funding or VC funding. If you're in the software business, like, I get it. Like, if you've got angel investors or investors that are giving you money to grow, it's really a different conversation to be had. But for those of us who are bootstrapping, it's what I found to be a necessity, because to build it with ascension first and low ticket first, you have to be an expert marketer. You have to be an expert copywriter. You have to be an expert offer creator. You have to be, you have to have branding. Like, you have to have a lot of things dialed in to make that work, which is why that is what you do down the road after you've already built your descension.
Yeah. And I think the root of that problem is misinformation, right? And it's not even intentional. Like, I think I remember. It's not
intentional. I'm not trying to throw stones. It's definitely not intentional. Like, that's why I say, like, I have my own book, so I do the ascension model. I have low ticket workshops. I do the ascension model, but I started high ticket. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm really glad you explained that, because like, I think I heard you on a podcast saying like Ryan Dice like chatted with you on Twitter or something, and like people thought you were throwing stones at him. But like, obviously people just see what they see and they're like, this guy does it, so I have to do it. But Ryan Dice is in a situation that most marketers are not in a situation like with their business, right? So It's so, that's kind of the problem, I think, when it comes to like learning business from YouTube and blogs. And don't get me wrong, I still watch YouTube videos, still read blogs. We're always learning, right? But you always have to consider the context of the situation. That's kind of the tough thing about like trying to learn everything. That's why like we get mentorship instead of just courses and videos,
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I think One thing that you said in your presentation was the power offer gets them engaged, which I really liked, because when someone asks you a question, it causes you to think. Like, dude, I used to, so I'm from Long Island, not too far from you. And my first business was construction. I was in the construction business, actually painting for 5 years. So I was selling people on how to paint their house. And I did it door to door too. So I did like traditional sales and got like, sometimes I would get just hundreds of doors shut in my face. Like if I actually calculated over the year, I just kind of got used to it. Right. But one of the best things I learned, and I know nobody watching this wants to be in the painting business, probably not. But like the cool thing is, it's just about principles of sales. Because when I used to go door to door and I would say, hey, sir, were you thinking about getting your house painted? Like nobody's sitting with their family, like, unless like 1 in a million, they're just talking with their wife about house painting. Right. But like, it wasn't something that was interesting. It wasn't a big problem. Like if someone needs to paint their house, it's not very exciting. It's not like an urgent thing, usually, unless your house is falling apart and you waited too long. That's a different story. But basically what helped me get way more leads when I was doing like the, traditional cold calling was they'd open their door and their face would say, not interested, right? Like you've done in-person sales, you kind of know that feeling, right? And what I would start to do is I would say, hey, when was the last time you had your house painted? And they would be like, you know what? I don't know. Or they would ask their wife. And her wife would be like, 10 years ago. And I'd be like, it just so happens, like most homeowners repaint every 6 years, blah, 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 blah. Now they're thinking, now they're engaged. Now we're having a conversation. So the disadvantage with online marketing is you don't have the luxury of being in person to like read and understand people. But I think it's so cool that you've taken like just a simple question and a really simple framework. And yeah, I just definitely agree that like it gets people engaged. It gets them to stop and read because you're asking them a question and you're also calling out the market, which is what I really liked about, just about the framework.
Yep. And so like we have other forms of power offers, like we have identity power offers, expanded power offers. Like this is where we start. Like if you can't get your promise dialed in and you can't get people to say yes to this, like it's the monopoly rule, right? Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like you don't move forward with anything else that's more complex than this. And so inside of the powerofferworkshop.com, like you can see all the other examples that we use for power offers. And Rich Sheffrin just promoted, like he had me on we did a training to his internal audience. Those of you who don't know Rich Sheffrin, he's like the godfather of internet marketing. Like he created the automated webinar. He's a legend in the space. And I shared with him and his audience this exact presentation. And he's just like, holy crap. He went and then he spoke at a couple of masterminds and he promoted this for me. Like I didn't even ask him to do it. I didn't know he was doing it, but he was like, I just learned this from Joel and I wanted to share it with you. So he like put my picture up there and I had a couple of people who were at those masterminds like, hey, did you know Rich Sheffrin is teaching your stuff? And I'm like, nope, that's pretty cool. So he shared it with Jay Abraham, another, legend in marketing. And, it has taken the marketing world, really by storm. It's used all over the place, which is great. Like that's awesome. Like it's a feather in my cap to be able to just say that, we've got something out there that people are using and they're having success. And so, I'm excited about it. And those people, anyone who uses it, like once you get it, you understand what this is meant to do. It's meant to help you exercise your offer muscles, which will be the muscle that makes you the most money in your entire life, hands down, right? Creating compelling offers will make you a crap ton of money, period.
100%. And that's why Alex's book is popping off right now, right? $100 million offers. And I think, like a lot of people, so especially for anyone watching that knows our company, a big part of what we do is sales training for the entrepreneur, for the sales team, if there is one. But like, that's never where we start a new client. It's like your offer probably needs work. You need to get clear on your niche. You might need to adjust your messaging. A lot of times people are like, I can't close deals. I need to get better at sales, or I need more leads. That's always the first place people go, is the obvious solution. Oh, I'm not making as much as I like in my business. I need more leads. You don't need more leads. It's probably you need what Joel's talking about, which is not just your offer, but like you have to be clear on the offer yourself. Yeah, I just love that it's simple. Janelle wrote in the chat, she said, no need to be an expert copywriter. You just need to have a simple, proven framework, which is, what Joel's given us.
Yep. And it's funny you mentioned Alex, because back in 2015, Alex and I worked together to launch Gym Launch, right?
No way.
So he worked with me, and
I just remembered that. I can't connect. I'm not going to take credit for Alex's success, but we worked together to help him launch his messaging. And he was my first client using
the power offer with. And so once we did that, he was getting applications for like $10, like $7 or $10. And Alex is a rock star closer. I mean, he was a salesperson by trait, by heart. I mean, so he'd get those leads on the phone. He'd sell them $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 programs. And that was how Gym Launch took off. Like that was his influx of the first number of leads for Gym Launch. And so, he's done some amazing things, obviously, but that was the genesis, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun seeing him take off like that, and he's gone on to do even more since we worked together. But yeah, I think his testimonial for me was, I think we helped him go from $0 to $400,000 a month in 6 months. Yeah. That was the initial launch of Gym Launch.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. That's really. It's funny, actually. I just remembered I initially found your work from Mike Dillard's podcast. And now that I think about it, I do remember you talking about a gym as one of your first clients. So like, I didn't even realize that until talking to you. But, that's kind of what I think is cool about the expert business, coaching, consulting, is you teach your strategies and someone builds a way bigger thing than you would have built with it. And it's kind of cool to see their journey in a totally different industry, Like how did that feel? Like just basically seeing him absolutely explode.
I mean, it was cool. I mean, to go to $100 million takes way more than a catchy lead, a lead gen hook. You got back end offers and retention and all that stuff. And I didn't help them with any of that stuff. Right. But it was really exciting. I mean, when it first started popping off, we had a competition, the two of us, because he was a client of mine as I was developing this framework. So like he actually hired us to work with him to build a long form webinar. And from the initial intake call, we're like, I don't know, man, you're going after gym owners, you will try the long form webinar, because we were both in Russell's mastermind, and that's how we got connected. And he's like, yeah, Russell told me to hire you, so let's do it. I'm like, all right, but I don't know if gym owners is even going to have time to listen to a long form webinar. So we launched it, and the first initial data didn't come back good, but I was experimenting with power offers and mini webinars, which is the other thing that I'm really known for. And I said, dude, we need to try this power offer and mini webinar, because I think this is what you need. He's like, all right. We hopped on a call, and he had the one thing about Alex, not the one thing, but Alex is an executor. I mean, if you tell him to do something, he will go, and he'll go as fast as he can. So within 24 hours, we had this thing launched. And nice. He didn't generate any leads from the long form webinar. We switched to this methodology here, and he was producing apps immediately, within the first day. I think he had 7 applications coming in. And so it became this competition, because I was running it for my own business as well. Nice. So he's like, dude, I just got 2 more applications for, another $7 in ad spend. And then I texted him I just got 1. And so it was a friendly competition back and forth. And then he just took off. Right. And so that was the, the ignition that he needed to really take off. So it was a lot of fun.
Man. So there's probably a good amount of you in his book then.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned me at all, but like I said, it takes a lot more than just a sexy front end offer to do $100 million in sales.
Yeah, $100 million in sales is definitely not about having a banging sales process. It's about so many more things. I can't even imagine the problems that come up when you're running a $100 million business. I don't even want to think about it. I'm happy with the problems I have now. Cool, man. Well, I don't know if anyone has the chat, any questions. I know we still have a little bit more coming to the end of this, but if anyone has any questions, you could dump it in the chat. I would say, so let's say somebody takes this framework. Let's say they're at 10, 20K, or even a little bit before. They validate their offer using this framework, and their business gets to 50, 75K. At what point does it become less about the offer? And let's just we could even take my business if you'd like. We just sell a coaching program right now that has a course attached. Right now, our course is just for a resource for our existing clients, resources, videos in there, and their staff. But assuming that, you run with the power offer framework, you even start getting mini webinars down. Once you grow, how would someone in my shoes go and start to bring in mid-ticket offers or low ticket offers into the mix?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to decide if you even really want it, right? Not everyone really needs a low ticket offer. As I said before, depending on your market, this could be all you need, depending on how, what your goals are for your business. Meaning,
sure,
take Boyd, for instance, right? I don't know if you ever dreamed that he'd be doing $250,000 a month with this funnel. And so right now, he decided that he wanted to continue to grow his sales team, right? So he's got lead gen dialed in, and now he has to work on fulfillment with the course and customer retention, right? So once you get them to buy once, how do you get them to buy again? So what else are you going to pack on to, making your system a well-oiled machine, but you really want to see how far you can push this power offer with ad spend. So figure out where the breaking point is. I usually say $30,000 to $50,000 per month is what you can do solo. Meaning, like, if you're running a coaching program or whatever your offer is, assume you've got like a $5,000 or $10,000 offer. You can run the ads, you can take the sales calls, and you could probably do fulfillment all the way up until 30 to 50K per month, right? At that point, you really should hire at least an assistant or maybe a salesperson, sure, right? But like then it starts to become team building. And it really all comes down to, what is the goal of your program? Most course creators don't necessarily, in my experience, they don't want to grow a big team, right? And so once they start to see $30,000 to $50,000 per month, a lot of them never even dreamed of making that much money, because if they're stuck in the low ticket mindset of, $100 course or whatever it is, I mean, like, how many courses do you have to sell a month to make $30,000 or $50,000 per month? Well, if we switch that up and, I show them how to sell a $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 program, they hit those goals pretty quickly. So, it all depends on how far you can push that lead gen and what your team looks like. So there's a lot to discuss going past 50K per month, right. 50K per month. But it really depends on what your goals are.
Yeah, it definitely depends on where you're comfortable and how big you want to grow it. For us, like, we're building the company to a place where eventually we'd like to be able to sell it. That's why it's branded as Revenue Boost, not AJ Casada. But yeah, we plan to just keep building it. Like, actually, might be cool for you to know. So just because I've been watching you from afar and just kind of like really took your thought process when we started this company, just kind of like, I found your podcast just when we were formulating our offer and Revenue Boost. But what I really love, and I know I said it already in this call, but I really, really love the whole sell high ticket and fund your business. Because what we did, we're on month 6 of this company, and we have a team of 8 people now. I just went from being like solo to like CEO, like in the last 30 days. It's been an absolutely, like, probably the craziest few months of my life. But high ticket has allowed me to bring in a team to support me. So like, we found an offer, we found product market fit. Our clients are getting excellent results with what we're teaching them. And I realized it's not about sales anymore. I've been in sales marketing for 8 years. It's not about that. It's about fulfillment, team, and growth. So like, in 6 months, just kind of following your like framework, not just for offers, but your framework for like growing, especially this type of business. Yeah, I've been able to just like fund the whole team and take myself out of the operations. And it hasn't even been 6 months. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was selling low ticket or mid ticket right away, or like underpricing myself or whatever. Like, we still only have one offer, and it's between 6 and 10K, depending on like if the person brings in staff members or not. So yeah, I'll be looking over your stuff soon, or probably giving webinar agency a call to talk about maybe going low ticket, because we do want to go mass market with what we're doing. There's a broad approach to what we do, so we do want to bring that low ticket in the mix. So maybe talking to one of your sales guys soon.
Yeah, I mean, so we have an awesome offer where we help people implement. We call it a power offer validation campaign, where if they've got a high ticket offer, or if they need help developing a high ticket offer, we develop their power offers and we validate their offers for them, and we guarantee an ROI. And so like, if you're ready to turn on paid traffic, we can get that up and running for you. And it's a very, very affordable investment with a guaranteed ROI. So anyway, whenever you're ready, man, happy to talk.
Yeah, man. Well, I think Russell Brunson uses you guys. So I think I can have some confidence you guys to get results for sure. But yeah, guys, I think if you don't already know Joel, definitely check him out. Check out his Power Offer Workshop, which we will link. Definitely check out his book. But yeah, Joel, where can people find you? Where's the best place for them to dive deeper into this? Yep,
you can go to my website at joelerway.com. If you wanted to grab this workshop, it's either 27 or 37 bucks. I can't remember what we're selling it for at this point. Powerofferworkshop.com, and you can grab that. I also have a book where we talk about the dissension model. If you're in the education space, you can go to book.highticketcourses.com and grab a copy of High Ticket Courses. You'll learn about our dissension methodology. And if you go to joelerway.com, you can check out my 2 podcasts, Experts Unleashed and Sold with Webinars. So lots of content out there for you to go consume, and appreciate having me.
Cool. Yeah. And then just real quick, someone asked a question in the chat. Do you have another minute?
Sure.
Shoaib asked, can this work for service businesses? Pretty sure the
100%.
answer is yes. Anything? Yeah. 100. Anything you want to add there? And it's,
No, this works. It's a demand generation framework. Anywhere that you need to generate leads, it will work for, right? In my education business, we mostly serve course creators. So like that's where that applies to. But this framework will help anyone, whether like we work with tons of service providers, right? Coaches, consultants, service providers, agencies. It's meant to help you exercise your offer muscles and generate demand. So it will work for anyone who needs to generate leads, period.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. No, it'll definitely work for you. And then Steve wanted to actually hop on voice for a minute. Steve, you're here?
Yeah. Hey man, how's it going? So yeah, thanks for sharing this. I do have a question. Well, actually I have two, if you don't mind answering. So the first one is very interesting that you share this idea of power offer. And I completely agree that offer is really what drives everything. What's very interesting about what you share, and I'm just curious because I do run a lot of Facebook ads as well. And, as AJ would, and I've done quite a bit of it. What I found, however, is like, you said that it dropped your cost per lead from 200 or like 400 down to like, $30, $40, which is interesting because, usually when you make an offer that are looking for buyers, there's usually less of them, right? So they tend to be more expensive. What's the reason why you think that it actually dropped in cost going directly to the buyers, right? Because if you do like a top of the funnel kind of a thing, you offer, is it because when you do top of funnel, there's so many things that can go wrong with your lead magnets, all of these stuff. So it ends up to be like a $400 thing to actually get an application.
That's exactly right.
Is that the reason? Okay.
Yeah. So, when I was generating $400 per application, I was running a long form webinar. So, I'd have to get my front end messaging right. Then they got to opt in, right? Then they got to watch the webinar, and then there's going to be a huge drop off throughout the webinar. And then at the end, it's the offer, and there's no guarantee that everyone who sees the offer is actually going to apply. So when you get all of those, all of those points where people can drop off, it crushes your cost per lead, cost per application. Now, obviously, once you get it all dialed in, it can work. But it's, as I've said before, getting that to work is like you need to have a lot of things working.
I agree. I've tried it. I've done it for other people, and I worked with a lot of business that sort of wants that, but what they don't realize is it's not like you just put out something and it's going to magically work, right? There's like a lot of things that can go wrong, and that's why it's actually harder to get it to work. But once you get it to work, you do have an advantage. But it's very difficult. Yes, I agree with that. But the other question, if you don't mind me asking, is, and I'm very interested in it, is I looked at the copies, the way you did the power offer, which is really cool. But it's at the end of it, you sort of just ask them if they're interested in the offer. Is this like, so they book a session, and is this something you sort of offer to them for free? Like, I'm not very clear on what exactly, if you don't mind asking.
Yeah. So where we take them at that point is we take them to a call, right? So we ask them to, fill out an application, fill out an assessment, and then we book a call to discuss it. Right. So it's very much like you're making that direct offer, and that direct offer leads to a call. Right. So
are you actually delivering what you're offering on the copy? Like, or, like, are you actually going to go through that process with them, or like, I'm just curious. For
instance, we look at Boyd, right? If I offer to show you the unconventional strategy to, get into these IT professional careers, would you take me up on that offer? Right. So it's like, here's my promise. Boyd took them to a mini webinar, right? So it was like an opt-in to a 10-minute mini webinar. And then at the end of that webinar, it was, book a call or fill out an application. What we do with our power offer validation campaigns is we don't even have a mini webinar, right? It's this framework, this promise. If you're interested, fill out this application and let's speak, right? So like, here's my promise. I'm going to help you. Right now we're running a power offer, or we're running one of these funnels where we're helping people, like we want to help people pre-sell their course. So sell their course before it's even created. And that is our power offer. And so what we are doing is we create that power offer, the ad, we send them to a landing page, they fill out an assessment form, and they book a call, right? So if you want this, let's talk.
I see. Okay.
That's how it's framed.
I'm just wondering if you actually, like, if you book a call, do you like fulfill that offer you made on the thing? Like,
if they join, I mean, like, it's not, we're not offering that. Like, I'm not offering show, like, to do it for them for free. It's like, do you want this? Yes or no?
You want to, yeah. But I think, Steve, I'd recommend you check out, I forget which one it is, but I think it's the actual Power Offer workshop. He explains his sales process, how it ties in.
Gotcha.
I would definitely check that out. But yeah, no, that's a great question. Those are both great questions, actually. Thanks for tuning in and asking. But yeah, it's basically just the point of an ad is to get them to click, but also in the right frame of mind. So on the landing page, I'm sure you'd explain, hey, on the call, you'll learn about this offer, right? But the cool thing is people that clicked on that ad, they're going to be people that are interested. I like to think about the 5 stages of awareness. So I really like power offers because I think they just speak to the people that are right at solution awareness. They kind of know what they want or they're looking into it. And there's less of them for sure, but like those sales calls are going to be way easier. And yeah, hey, everyone who tuned in live, surprise early Christmas gift. I'm going to send you Joel's book on the house. So just text me on Facebook, your address, we'll set it up. But yeah, the 6 of you here. So just because I'm so such a believer in Joel's method. And for everyone watching this after the fact, go buy Joel's book. It's just a book. But if for everyone here, we're going to gift you one for tuning in live.
.highticketcourses.com.
Appreciate it, Joel. Thanks so much, man, for sharing with us what's worked for you.
All right. Thanks, guys. AJ, thanks for having me.